Tell them run it up. I wake up. Yeah.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip this, wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice.
Oh, getting the technical difficulties out the way. You press on something and then it go to something else because it's not there. You know, when the mouse is kind of like buffered. Hey, it ain't my fault. Blame AT&T.
So yes, sir. We are here, Ebony Sports Reporters. We're here in the house. Julius Hall, Jamal Teray. We are right here tonight. Got some things to discuss, and we may have some other people joining us tonight. And so we're going to throw some things out there. Again, Brother Julius Hall, I got to throw this out there right now because this is something that is major right now. And it's Brian Flores, former head coach for the Miami Dolphins. And also, I threw it out there, say, Brian Flores, is he now the new Kurt Flood? Or he's the Kurt Flood of the NFL coaches. So.
Yeah, it seems that way he is. But somebody has to fall on it and sacrifice for the good of the order. And Brian Flores is doing that for not only the Kurt Floyd, he's the Colin Kaepernick of coaching, you know, for the coaching side of it. And Colin was for the player side. And, you know, it's just about fairness and equity. And that's what we try to talk about a whole lot on this platform, fairness and equity.
And Brian has said pretty much that he's made millions off of this career. He's enjoyed this career. He's enjoyed this game known as football. And it's not just the love of the game in the past, but it's the love of the game itself that has been a business for him, that his family's reaped the benefit from. And he's reaped the benefit from it also. But he's like, realize like, hey, something's going on. Like when you get a text message from Bill Belichick giving you kudos for now becoming the coach of the New York Giants, and then you're supposed to be flying there now to basically do an interview. So that goes to begin to tell you that I told some folks, I said, so the Rooney Rule wasn't even real. It wasn't even real with regards to that. And so, yeah, he's making a sacrifice, and some people say that he may get a job in coaching in the NFL again. But many people are saying, we think they might shy away. But again, you have some people, and it's speculative. We'll see what's going to happen. But again, this is something that needs to happen. And some of y'all probably aware out there with regard to the ATR family, the Owl Network family, you're probably aware that Hugh Jackson, who came out also and said that they basically told him that you can get a bonus if you now lose some games. And he was saying, no, wait a minute. The money that you want to give me as a bonus, $100,000, let us use that to help basically build a team because we're not qualified with regards to that. And see, that's something I was curious about when he was saying all of that how did some of his players who were on the team felt about that? Because Hugh, when they said, we weren't that good. So that's why, again, so Hugh Jackson is thrown out there. Brian is thrown out there. So it's some decisions that we might need to make as a community. Since this is Ebony Sports Reporters, I had thrown out to some folks, we might need to boycott the NFL.
Sounds like something that's doable. you know, a lot of times people wait. A lot of times on the NFL because they're tight. A lot of people don't like baseball because not many of us play baseball. But we dominate basketball and football, so we wait on those two sports. So that's part of the problem. But and then you got to have and in the black community, you got to have some solidarity um, so that you can do a successful boycott. There's nothing that you can't do a successful boycott if everybody's not with the program. You know, and if you don't do that, then you're doing it for nothing. People just wasting their time because nobody's paying attention. You got to have people that stand up on their principles and and um, come out and be engaged and involved.
Well, now this is why I will share to the viewing audience. That's one of the reasons why, you know, when it comes to the NFL team, the team that I support in the NFL, or at least I say I'm a fan of in the NFL, that is, I don't like to say Las Vegas Raiders, but it is the Oakland Raiders, it's the LA Raiders, it is Raider Nation, because going back in the day, Al Davis had been a thorn in the side to the NFL. Because again, Al was basically taking a maverick approach, and that was some people said, you know, again, those Raiders. And so we look at that and saying someone who said, we understand this system is not correct. And so that's why we're going to go ahead and do it our way. And we're going to sue the NFL, and Pete Rozelle and others were mad. So, but yeah, so I got to throw it out there. So Hugh Jackson, Brian Flores, what they're doing right now, they're taking that approach right now to try to rectify some of this. And that's why I'm going to look at saying how David Culley got fired with the Houston Texans. I still jump on that. Like, wait a minute. You knew he was not going to have all the weapons that he needed. Deshaun wasn't there. You knew that. And you thought by hiring him, that'll make Deshaun want to stay and say, okay, I will play. But, yeah.
And they do those things. If you, they were trying to get him to throw a game, give you $100,000 for every loss. Even though they're paying you, they're giving you $100,000 for every loss. It does two things. One, if you fall for that, that's like being a sellout. So they can say, well, this guy can't coach. So why would we hire a black guy to fill this position when they can't coach? The second thing is the owners will sacrifice that coach so that they can get a higher draft pick. And that's all it's about. When you done lost 12 or 14 games, you ain't got but two, you are trying to lose the last ones. Because you get the higher draft pick. You get to pick that quarterback or that outstanding linebacker or defensive end or cornerback. You get to pick those people. So that's what it all amounts to. But if it's the first part about making that coach a failure so that you could show that black coaches shouldn't be in there. Think about it, $100,000 a game. These are billionaires. If they all came up together with this plan and they say, okay, well, this is what we need to do. These guys are going to take over this whole league after a while. Then let's put this money together. And every time there's a loss, we'll give that black coach $100,000. It's systematic and it's a diabolical plan. But see, people don't think that these people think this way. They do, you know.
And that's it exactly. And because right now, people getting hyped up for the Super Bowl. One of the keys now, people looking at Matt Stafford with regards to what he has done for the Rams to get to the Super Bowl. But guess what? Some of us going to say, no, you need who you need to look at. And it's not about Sean. It's about Raheem Morris. They say Raheem Morris is the one. He is the DC. He's the defensive coordinator. They say that his defense is the reason why the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. So here it is. He's a DC, but then also folks saying he didn't get to play. Eric Bieniemy not getting to play. So here go folks who got top-rated defenses and also offenses, but not getting to play. And so that's why I think the work that Brian Flores is doing is necessary so that way they bring about some changes. And so I guess what we'll do now, we'll move on to another one. And this is a question going to my boy, Jimmy Garofalo. I'm trying to figure out what is that about. So Jesus Hall, what is that in your opinion? What was going on? What's up with Jimmy?
On which on the end?
Yeah.
I'm
that pass.
That pass. That was I have no idea. I don't know. Everybody, even the commentator at the time, wondered what was that. He played great sometime, and you thought that he was going to the Super Bowl the way that he was playing, and next thing you know, he did the same thing that my boy Kansas City,
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes. He did the same thing Pat Mahomes did. You know, Mahomes should have known this is down to the nitty gritty here. I got to make sure everything is. If I got to put this team on my legs and on my to the Super Bowl, I got to do that. And he didn't do it. You know.
And even the divisional game, and now let's go on to Pat. That folks talked about how Pat was carrying the ball, running with the ball, not securing the ball. He got the ball in one hand. He's running with the ball with one hand, and he's running with the ball in his right hand. And you got defenders on your right side, and Pat is doing it. And I give Pat credit. Pat got the skill sets that a lot of other people do not have, and that's again what we're able to do. That again, throw an underhanded pass, all of that. I want to say I love that about Pat. But then what occurred, we go and see what Pat did not do what he needed to do to protect and maintain that lead that they had. And that becomes a problem. So again, but I'm not just throwing it on Pat, but as everyone. So that with Jimmy, that again, and that's why I might people say, Jimmy, just don't cause us to lose the game. Just maintain it. We're all good. Just maintain it. Just cause us not to lose the game. So that pass at the end, I was like, he thought it was better to do that as opposed to getting a sack. And I'm like, oh my God.
No, same thing, Mahomes. You should have took the sack, dude. You can't wait to play 2-minute ball. This team came back with the biggest deficit in playoff history, not Super Bowl history, but playoff history, to come back to beat them like that. Nah, man. It didn't make sense.
And we're going to stick with your boys, the Kansas City Chiefs, but not on the opposite end. We're going to go to Joe Burrows. I have to ask this question and put it out there to the audience also. It's like, well, make a statement. Joe Burrows been around us. Joe Burrows been around brothers. Joe Burrows, he been around us. That Louisiana, he might come from out the north, but he been in Louisiana at LSU all day. He been around us.
Yeah, it seems that way because he's a smooth. Now, I like Matthew Stafford. That's why I kind of like the Rams to win the Super Bowl. But I also like Joe Burrow because he seems like that kid, the new kid on the block that can get it done. You know what the sad thing is now they're comparing him, if he wins his first Super Bowl, that he'll be the next Brady. You know, that's what they're saying. If he wins this Super Bowl, he's going to be the next Brady. What you say?
With regard to that, I think it would be too early to even say something like that. And so they always try to almost like immediately try to crown a successor. Well, no, we know we have to wait and see what's going to happen. We got to look at careers because, again, we go back to Kansas City when people talk about the dynasty of one because they made the pronouncement that Kansas City is a dynasty. I got respect for the Chiefs and with regard to the squad. And I like Eric. I like Andy. I like them. But then again, sometimes we are too quick to go and make these pronouncements. Let's look at the track record. That's what we need to do. So with regard to that, but the thing I say about Joe got the gold chain. Joe, he got the cigar. Joe got the sunglasses. Joe got the swagger. And now some people right now got upset with Joe because he basically went and inserted that, like they were like saying, is that chain real? He like, I make enough money for it to be real. So then they got upset about that. And I'm like saying, again, this is somebody got some confidence, but I'm going to say, I think there's some other undertones there because, again, Joe has the confidence as being around brothers that having that confidence, having that swagger. So that's some people I think are offended by that. So that's why I say, but again, I got to have mad respect for him. I did like what LSU when they won the championship. I did like that national championship. I had liked that with Coach Ed Ogeron. But now when he comes to NFL, I'm like saying, okay, he was Cincinnati. I'm like, cool. So, but I would have liked for Kansas City to go into the Super Bowl again, and based on again wanting to support Patrick Mahomes and the others. But now I gotta say, Joe is cool with me. Because I'm gonna say he got some of that swagger.
Bernard Parker said everyone that watched that game knew he was looking for Tyreek Hill. And that's the problem. Tyreek Hill was devil coverage when he threw that man that ball. You got what the number 17? He had 2 or 3 other players that were playing great. Get the ball in them. But you know what, Jamal? One thing that I could say is that in football, when you got a 21-point lead, that's 3 touchdowns, and some teams can come back from that, Kansas City being one of them. When you got a team down, you supposed to crush them. Steve Spurrier, when he was at Florida Gators, he used to beat people by 50 points. And they used to say, why you ain't taking starters out? Why you didn't kneel down on that play? Steve Spurrier said, my players quit when the whistle blows. That's right.
And I'm like, Kelsey got the skill set. Kelsey is a dominant force. I think a lot of people know that. That's why I'm like, he is a force that got to be utilized all the time. And that's why, again, you got Tyreek. That's one of the weapons. But again, Kelsey is, again, a dominant force. And so we're going to roll with that. I now got to throw it out there and say this right here and grab my hand. Tom Brady, is he the greatest of all time? Because that's the conversation so many people are having. So many people are putting it out there. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. Because are there not some others who are the greatest of all time?
Tom Brady, you got a bunch of people that you could put up there. Jim Brown, Lawrence Taylor, O.J. Simpson, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice. Ted Bradshaw was bad. And a quarterback that I don't know how they keep throwing Tom out there when you got Montana was just an awesome quarterback. Montana was bad.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a lot of greatest of all times when you're talking about the sport, because you can't you got to put in football, you got to put them in categories.
Right, and I think and you called it out. I think that's what it's about. That is put them in categories, but when everybody going to designate that person the greatest of all time, and now we see with Joe Burrows, what you was throwing out there, that people now want to say that Joe will be in the category of Tom Brady. I'm like saying, yes, let's go and look at these people, because Lawrence Taylor transformed the defense with regard to that, and offenses had to now address that with regard to having somebody like that and having a generation coming up like that. So I'm like saying, yeah, so we need to be careful about when we are making, like I said, making these pronouncements about someone being the greatest of all time. And then folks going to say, look at the number of championships that Tom has, that he has 7 Super Bowl rings. Now, when people say that, it's someone else I got to throw out there. Not that I'm a fan of this particular squad, but I got to throw it out there. I'm going to say Bill Russell. Bill Russell's played in the NBA for, 12 seasons? And Bill Russell had 10 championships? 10 championships? So I'm like saying, wait a minute. So this man has had 10 championships in 12 seasons of playing basketball. So would you not go and say, and that's probably the greatest performer in athleticism with regards to championship that we know of, at least I want to say the latter part of the 20th century. Yeah.
Yeah. Bernard, who will be joining us in a couple of weeks from Columbia, South Carolina. He's one of our co-hosts on the show also. He just couldn't get in tonight. He said yes, without a doubt, at the quarterback position. There you go, in the category, because when you put people up like Emmitt Smith, what is Emmitt still all time leading rusher, or did somebody take his place? Somebody overtake him?
Emmitt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got look how Walter Payton used to run the ball. Barry Sanders quit in the prime of his career.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. You know? That's right.
O.J. Simpson and Eric Dickerson, nobody could touch these two guys running the football. O.J. Simpson was bad. No matter what anybody think about, O.J. Simpson was a bad. Shut your mouth.
That's right. You know? That's right. Yeah.
So when you put them in categories, because there you go with Jerry Rice, there you go with Randy Moss, there you go with these guys who were just outstanding athletes on the field in their respective positions. So yeah, Tom Brady probably I would put Tom Brady right there with Joe Montana as the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. Hell, ain't none of them threw the ball better than Warren Moon. You know, Warren Moon threw the air out the ball. You know, so it's just an opinion, because when you go to basketball and you say the greatest of all time with Michael Jordan, with the rings that he have and the way that he played, but the kids are getting more agile, more flexible. The game has changed a whole lot. You know, when you get from Michael to Kobe, from Bird to Magic and everybody, there were some great athletes. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. And now we're gonna look at Warren Moon. Throw this out there too to the audience, that Warren Moon played in the CFL, in the Canadian Football League, before coming to the NFL. Because again, they were trying to thwart Warren after he down at University of Washington when he's a Husky. So Warren goes and he wins multiple Grey Cups there in the CFL, multiple Grey Cups in the CFL. So Warren Moon is doing it right there. So that's why I'm going to say yes when you talk about that. And those are the things I think when you throw it out there, we got to look at those categories, but we go and folks now go and lump it and put it in one person. And then you got to look at the eras also, the time period, because some people might go and say Otto Graham. Because again, we talking about Super Bowl era right now. But prior, when they had the NFL championship, you got to go back to them old Cleveland Brown teams, the Cleveland Browns, when they went in, again, championship. They win the NFL championship. So Otto Graham and others like that. So, you know, yeah, so we got to look at the categories in the time period. And so when it comes down to this man called Tom Brady, another little story about Tom Brady, I ask people at times, I say, are you all familiar with the brother who coached and guided Tom Brady? And most people don't even have a clue. I say Tom Brady would not be Tom Brady if it was not for Greg Harden. Who is Greg Harden? Former athletic director at University of Michigan, at UM. Also a motivational speaker. That here go Tom Brady when he not gets there. It is Greg Harden who's not shaping him mentally, shaping him with regards, again, we know you got the skill sets, but now I got to get your mind developed and get that right. So again, and what so many people do not give him credit, but Brady, I will say in the early 2000s, when after he's drafted, he will acknowledge Greg, but many others go and just like kind of brush it off, because there's someone else who also who acknowledged again the influence of Greg Harden on their life, and that is Desmond Howard. Desmond, again, Heisman Trophy winner from Michigan. So again, he goes and acknowledges his brother right here. And so sometimes, a lot of times when I hear people talking about Brady and they're going to talk about Belichick, I'm like, no, Tom Brady was set before he got to New England. He was already set. He was set when he was at Michigan, because this brother, Greg Harden, who's a motivational speaker, again, emphasize that, and he's out there on the circuit right now, and has been out there. He was the one that shaped the dynamics for Tom Brady to become Tom Brady, and Desmond Howard and others are giving him credit on the work that he did with them at University of Michigan.
Well, and then when he went to Tampa Bay, he had Byron Leftwich.
Leftwich.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Byron Leftwich. So, he had some great coaches because Byron Leftwich used to sling that ball, boy. That boy, they used to sling that ball. I used to love Byron Leftwich. That boy used to throw that ball.
And some were hoping that Brian might be the person to now come in and rescue the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's been a lot of people thought that have Byron come now be the coach there, with regard to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So because they said, and that will help Trevor Lawrence. That's what some people are thinking.
And people like Byron Leftwich needs to have a look. They needed to get a look from these teams at those coaching positions because they are exemplifying greatness in that particular skill set of coaching. And when you don't give them that opportunity, then it looks bad on the league. And last year, a year before last, we had eight black head coaches. Now we only have one.
Yeah.
What's the problem? One. But when you're a white head coach and you get fired, you get hired by the other team automatically, and that's not fair. It's not fair and it's not equitable. And Brian Flores is absolutely correct in falling on the knife for the league. He has to do that because he says it's not right and it's shameful on the league.
And with those Caucasian coaches, also they can have 2, 3, 4 seasons of losing, and they still got opportunity. They still are right there. They're still working their machine.
Yeah, they let them do that.
African American coaches have one season, and they get rid of them. 2 seasons, bam, they are gone. That is a problem, and that's what's going on right now with the NFL. So folks are saying we got to address some of that. That's what Brian Flores and others are doing right now. So again, I said people like Greg Harden have played a tremendous role with regard to this legacy of Tom Brady. But now we got to move on to another legacy. Are the Lakers done? Are the Lakers done? Are the Lakers done?
Put a fork in them.
Are the Lakers done?
Put a fork in them. That's what you need to do. Put a fork in them.
They like 24-27 right now. 24-27.
Now they don't win 25 games.
There are problems in Lakerland. There are problems there at crypto. There are problems right now. So again, are the Lakers done? What's the perspective of, again, some of our listening audience with regards to that? Are the Lakers done? Because we need to consider that. What's going to happen in the West? What's going to happen in the West?
What's going to happen in the West is Phoenix coming out of the West. You already know that. I'm going to sound like Stephen Smith right now. I don't know what you're thinking about. Y'all know that Phoenix and Chris Paul, what he's doing down there is just magnificent. What you thinking about, Dr. Torre? You know that this boy is going to go to the NBA championship. He's going to get right by Golden State. Stephon can't shoot enough threes. They ain't enough balls to get to Stephon the way that Chris Paul is doing down there in over there in Phoenix.
I stick to the Bay Area. Stick to the Bay Area or the Rocky Mountains. I gotta go. My squads are Golden State, the Lakers, and also Denver. Some people like, you can't have all of them. I like, see, now let me tell you the story. Let me tell you the story. I said before Denver was in the NBA, they were in the ABA. And so when they got the merger, the ABA and the NBA, Denver comes over. I said, I can't just in my affiliation, my ties like that. So I'm like saying, so, I've always been down with that West Coast squad. So, again, not with regards to the Clippers, but with regards to the Lakers and also the Warriors. So that's why. So my squad's in the West. And so, but again, I know that if you say Phoenix, I know they got to at least come through the Warriors. And then, but again, Denver's right there. So, yeah. Yes, there's problems in Lakerland. We were hoping things would be a little better, but it's just not jiving. And so February 10th is coming up. February 10th, trade deadline. So I'm curious to see if some moves might be made because it would be quite surprising in Lakerland. There's a possibility for it to be a surprise.
Brother Jamal, you know those little thermostats that they put in the turkey?
Uh-huh.
Put one in the Lakers, bro.
Woo, woo, woo. You say you're
Put
just
one in
thinking
the
that they say it's gonna pop up, poop, just like that. They're gonna say,
They
poop.
done.
Say they, poop.
They
Okay,
done.
okay,
They
okay,
are
okay,
done. Ain't no ifs,
okay.
ands, or buts about it. Uh, they're not playing with any type of consistency. You know who I think gonna be the sleeper team this year? The Nets.
The Nets lost. The Nets are losing.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna make the playoff. They're gonna be the sleeper team.
Really?
Yeah.
And Kyrie just playing away games, not even playing home games.
Yeah. Well, he gonna have to he gonna have to do something about that.
Right. That's Kyrie. Kyrie said he's not getting vaccinated, and the city of New York said, that's what's in place right now. Not unless they see a change. That's what the city of New York is saying. Hey, as it stands right now.
Well, he gonna have to do something about that. Like I said, he's gonna have to do something about that. He can't. I don't think that he should be allowed to play away.
Okay.
I don't. You know, if he can play, period, let him play all the games.
Okay.
Or don't let him play at all. You know, so that's kind of strange that. And then they were struggling so bad they had to do something. So the team didn't bring him in because the chemistry. They didn't want them to change the rule or the policy later on, and then they got all this chemistry already built up, and then he's nowhere around and throw the chemistry off when he comes back because you can't sit him with the amount of money that he's making. You can't sit him on the bench.
Right.
And he's not a bench player anyway. Boy, bad.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, again, there are troubles in Lakerland. There are troubles in Lakerland. And this trouble is now tied to Jerry West. Jerry West had a lifetime pass to Laker games, had a lifetime pass. We all know that Jerry West is one of the great Lakers. Again, one of the great Lakers. Not just as an athlete for the Lakers, but also as an administrator, as a GM of the Lakers, a president, as in the front office. He was a great person for the Lakers, helping to bring what we know these championships. When we look at the 90s, we look at the 2000s, we look at Jerry West is right there, instrumental with regards to all that. And so Jerry West, I would say yes, he was definitely due to have a lifetime pass. And should have always had a lifetime pass, and he got a lifetime pass. But then Jerry West is now upset, mad, pissed off with the Lakers because they rescinded his lifetime pass and didn't even tell him.
Well,
they spoke to his wife and told his wife that he no longer had the lifetime pass.
Well, something in my throat. I can't get it out. I think Jerry West deserves to have whatever he wants from the Lakers. Jerry West was the Lakers. Jerry West still is the Lakers. Jerry West is the man that they modeled the statue of the silhouette for the NBA.
Yes.
That was Jerry West.
Yes.
So how could they not put somebody like that in the seat in the house for the rest of his life? He made the Lakers what the Lakers are. He's the reason that they have the way that these players are moving all over, building teams because they wanted to always beat the Lakers or Boston or New York. There weren't but three teams back then. You know, Boston, the Lakers, or New York. That was it. So I hate that they did that. They shouldn't have did nothing like that to a person like Jerry West. So I just hate it for him. You know, he deserves it.
One of their legends, one of their legends, and you do this to one of your legends. It was like insane, especially when he goes like saying, they don't even call me. They don't even call me directly. They contact and talk to my wife, tell my wife, but they don't talk to me directly. Like, again, I'm like saying, wait a minute. That is some extreme pettiness right there on the parts of the Laker organization, their front office. Yeah, I'm like, that's extremely petty. I'm like, the Bus family should be ashamed of itself with regards to how that went down. And so again, disrespecting one of your own, who's the reason why you are even in a position to claim some of these championships right now. As a player, as a GM, front office personnel, all of that, charge of operations. Wow. So we're going to move on to another little segment. And this segment I like to call Find Blank a Home. Find this person a home. So Julius Hall, who do you need to find a home for? Who do you say we need to find a home for?
I think we need to find for Deshaun Watson. They need to bring him down south where he's from, bring him on here to Atlanta Falcons, tell Matt Ryan we through with you, and in the meantime, bring Brian Flores on to Atlanta and tell the coach, okay, we're going to pay you and get the hell up out of here. We got to bring some excitement to this Chocolate City. I think that's a home that we need to find for Deshaun Watson in Atlanta.
And I had not thought about Deshaun myself, but that's a good one right there. That's a good one with regards to finding a home for Deshaun. There's another quarterback I'm going to tell folks we need to find a home for. That's Russell Wilson. We need to find a home for Russell Wilson. The way things are going, even from last year, and Russell kind of like peel back on what he was saying. But again, Russell said the love was basically gone from out of Seattle. So, but again, need to find a home for Russell Wilson. Someone else, I was going to say, need to find a home for Ben Simmons. Need to find a home for Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Need to find a home for Ben Simmons. That's really needed. And so some people think by the trade deadline, that's some deals going to be worked out for Ben Simmons, but that remains to be seen. Like I say, find a home for Ben Simmons. Find a home for him. It is needed. It is absolutely needed because, again,
when those players make that amount of money and the team is not satisfied with them and they're not satisfied with the team, get the player on out of there. There's a lot of teams that will take Ben Simmons. There's a lot of teams.
Yeah.
It's a little different than the NFL. When they blackball you in the NFL, you damn near blackballed out of whatever forever.
Yes.
But Ben Simmons in the NBA is different. I know we need to find a home for Colin Kaepernick. He's not getting any younger.
Right.
I don't think Colin going to come back. I think he's just going to sit back and do what he's doing and not going to come back. But, teams got to, they look over us, Jamal, and they shouldn't because the whole world is watching. And you can see that this is blatant racism, especially when you talk about the black coaches in the NFL, when you talk about Colin Kaepernick. Players are treated different. Take Aaron Rodgers, for instance. He lied and said he didn't take the
right. That he was vaccinated, so all that. So yeah, and
he was talking about his vaccination for the flu. He was talking about his vaccination for a tetanus shot or something. He was playing trick with the words. And so when they asked him that, he said, yeah, because that's what he was. But he wasn't for this COVID. And so but Cam Newton got kicked off the team for the same thing, virtually.
Yes. So
it's crazy. It's a double standard. They do it in our face, and it's disrespectful. And like you say, maybe we should be boycotting the NFL. Because until you make people do right and touch them in the pockets, they're not going to do right. They're not going to respect you or do anything for you.
Right. Yes, sir. So now, J.R. Smith and HBCUs. J.R. Smith, and now he's on the golf team at North Carolina A&T, and he's done well academically with regards to it. But he still said that, hey, if someone come off him a 10-day contract, he'll go take the 10-day contract with regards to the NBA. But again, he's doing his thing, golfing, and respecting that. And so again, that gives us more exposure with regards to HBCUs. And any thoughts with regard to that?
Well, I think all these players, when they leave, they have a duty and a responsibility to go back and do something in the community. We have one sports legend around here that I don't, and he's supposed to be on this show. I don't particularly care with how he's being blackballed throughout the whole city, but I think that it would be great to put somebody of that stature. He's more respected around the world than he is in Savannah, and that's one of the things happen in this city. We don't respect our superstars, and Gator Rivers. I remember since I was a little boy. So, putting him on the basketball team to coach a Savannah High, put it where he could be there. This brings prominence to your city. I really think that Gator Rivers should be coaching somewhere in this city, even at Savannah State. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a hell of a coach now. He's fundamentally sound with basketball. He might be screwed up in the head, but Gator Rivers is fundamentally sound with basketball. That's my good friend, so I can say that about it.
So, yes, and Gator Rivers play basketball at Heaven V. Jenkins High School. To let everyone know that Gator Rivers is a HVJ alum. Just to let y'all know that. He transferred on over to Beach. Let y'all know that. That's what occurred. Yes, that's what happened. Yes, indeed. Now,
Bernard Parker, yeah, he is an old Steelers fan. He talking about his Steelers need a black mobile quarterback. Well, you need to find a home for Deshaun Watson. Bring him there. Ben gone. Bring y'all got a chance to get. It's a couple of great black mobile quarterbacks that's coming out. That their stocks have already risen. So we'll be watching this real close to see what they do. Where do you think that the boy that just won the championship going to end up at?
Which
Bennett for Georgia, University of Georgia. He'll see you this year.
Well, what has said, that's why when you were saying, I just want what has been said is that he is not the prototype NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's fine to be a college quarterback, and also they're gonna say that he is a manager. He manages. So yeah, he may get drafted, but then where he's gonna get drafted, I don't think that he's not a high draft pick. At least that's my thoughts. And people are going to do it because he's from UGA. That's what goes on, and that's what comes into play. But I'm like saying, no, he's not all that. So, but I got to put this out there with regards to J.R. Smith. And with J.R. Smith, it goes into he goes on over to Deion Sanders. When Travis Hunter, who's out of Georgia, Travis Hunter, when he now goes and signs with Jackson State, because people thought that he had committed himself to Florida State, and this went on. So they thought they had been on him since, like before the senior year. They've been on him, making sure that he's still going to be committed to come to Florida State. So when he doesn't go to Florida State, and then he tosses the cap, and that it's going to be Jackson State, people are upset, and then now they start accusing Deion, them saying that basically they just engage in some underhanded methods. They acquire his services. I'm like, no, and then with name, image, likeness, that's something separate. So again, they came at Deion and basically tried to tear his character up. So now guess what happened on yesterday on National Signing Day? You have Texas A&M with the top recruiting class. Usually it's like Alabama or Georgia, folks like to go and say, but here go Texas A&M has it. And so now what happened? Lane Kiffin over at Ole Miss, he starts insinuating stuff about what's going on, as if, there's like a $30 million slush fund. That's how they got all those athletes. So again, Jimbo Fisher is pissed off. So, but my thing is So they have the conversation amongst themselves like that. But when it came down to Deion not getting athletes that were committed to, say, to the Division I, the highest level of 5-star, blue star, 5-star athlete, and he now is going to Jackson State. And people are upset that an HBCU could pull that off, but Travis Hunter did it. And then they accused Deion of basically engaging in some, nefarious ways to acquire it. So I'm like looking at them, assessing them right now, like, oh, Lane Kiffin's the only one saying this about Jimbo Fisher them at Texas A&M. Why are the other people who did that with regard to Deion? They're putting the information out there.
Yeah. Well, and people just want to go where they can get the best shot at making it to the next level. Right. Deion gives these kids that. If you're a cornerback, especially, and you go in there, people are going to be looking at you because Deion taught you.
That's right, and that's it. And that's what did. The brother Travis is a cornerback wide receiver. So something that he'd be basically be a cornerback. So I'm like saying, hey, come on now. Come on.
And what Deion is doing at Jackson State is awesome. And that's what I was talking about. Shannon Sharp went right here to Savannah State.
Yeah.
You got the Handbrake boys that went to Savannah State.
Mm-hmm.
You got Cam Newton's dad went to Savannah State.
Right.
So it's some people that needs to come back and say, okay, let me coach. You got Edwin Bailey, played 11, 12 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. He went to the Tompkins High School.
Oh, I thought he went to Groves.
No, he went to Tompkins.
I thought he went to Groves.
No, he grew up with me. Went to Tompkins High School. Played
you
12
sure?
seasons, Seattle Seahawks.
I think he went to Groves.
He should have a head coaching job here in we overlook our people and don't give them those positions that they should have a chance at, and I think it's wrong. And when you get a NFL player or NBA player, Purvis Ellison, where he at? I don't know. We got how many? We got more Harlem Globetrotters from Savannah.
Yes, that's right.
Any other place on the earth.
That's right.
Harlem Globetrotters got more from Savannah than anybody.
That's right.
Probably 7 or 8 or 9 of them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's what we got to do. We got to start using that talent that we already got and bringing it up to the next level.
Right. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. So now let's go on to our good friend Shohei Ohtani. Again, with the Angels. And some people are concerned about that. He's with the Angels. They're not going to make it to the playoffs. That's what people feel. Because we know there's a lockout right now going on. But again, if there was no lockout, are you able to now let him be the one to carry you to the playoffs? Some people say Shohei is good, but that shouldn't happen like that. But I'm going to say this with regards to him, that here is this Japanese American who's basically not American, Japanese citizen who's now playing baseball, and he's having an impact. He's doing what used to be done in the day, that he can hit and he can pitch also, because that's what used to happen back in the day. Pitchers also were hitting, and they were out there on a regular basis doing that.
Well, I think he's an awesome pitcher. And I don't think that he can take them on his own. I don't think that he can take them on his own because he got to pitch every 4 games or every 5th game. He in the rotation.
Right.
If they try to pitch him more than that, they tear his roto cup up.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't take them on his own. But when the Braves won the first World Series, you had awesome Glavine and Smoltz and those boys.
Mad
Dog. Boys, they were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They had a hell of a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And Maddox, they were just awesome.
Yes.
So can he make other pitchers good? Can he do what Mike did for the Chicago Bulls?
Right.
LeBron doing
Right.
for the teams that he played for.
Yes.
Can you Kobe do? Can you make other players around you good?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Other pitchers. It's hard to make another pitcher good. So I don't know because either he got that smoke or he don't.
Yes. And again, he won the MVP, even though I had wanted Vlad Jr. to win it. I had wanted Vlad to win it. I was cheering on Vlad with regards to it, but I have to go give Ohtani credit that he is handling, he's represented well with regards to that. So now we move on to this. We're going to move on to the Olympics and Paralympics. There are African Americans who are in the Paralympics and also in the Olympics. And right now, just some surprising thing for some people, you got Jamaicans. You got, again, Jamaica, the island nation of Jamaica. They have participants in the Olympics. Then we also got Ghana. You also got Nigeria. You got Madagascar. So you see, even African countries, some of them are participating in the Olympics, and they are, some of them, a lot of them participating in the Alpine. They are doing all the skiing. You got then also some doing the bobsled, but you see us right there representing well.
Yeah, in both Olympics and the Paralympics.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting. Where are the Olympics at this year? I mean,
in Beijing.
In Beijing, okay.
In Beijing. So, and of course, that's some of the concerns that people have too. Because COVID is still real. People talk because you got some. I want to say, Taylor wasn't able to go because she had a COVID issue. So I'm thinking that she'll be fine eventually. And so then, the bobsled has not begun yet, but that's something to be looking out for with regards to that. And so we'll move on from that. We now go to who should be the MVP in the NBA? Who should it be? And so some people throwing out there Joel Embiid. Is Joel Embiid the MVP?
Embiid is good, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to repeat. And in order to be the MVP, you're gonna have to win the championship. I think, or be real close to it. I think the MVP right now will have to be either Chris Paul or Steph Curry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think good point. Two good choices with regards to that. Two good choices. So yes.
So we'll see. It's got some good teams out there playing good ball with some no-name players. Miami, Memphis, they're playing good ball.
Jimmy Butler, I'm saying they ain't no name.
But Jimmy Butler's, everybody knows Jimmy. Jimmy's just a baller.
And Ja Morant, hey.
Morant is gonna be that guy.
Yes.
He gonna be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's already showing you he is.
That's
gonna
right.
be that guy.
That's right.
He's a bad boy. He's scared.
Right. He engaged in the training even before he got into the NBA, and that's tied to his father. So that's why I say I have mad respect for Ja, because he's put the work in to condition himself to be what he is, and you see that manifested on the courts. Absolutely. And so with regards to this, so I think many of us keep our eyes open, and some people say right now, this part of the dog days of the NBA because it's not getting close to the All-Star break, and so people they're just going through that grind right now. So that's why I guess some people might have losing streaks. So I think the Nets have had like a 4-game losing streak. I think they're on a 4-game losing streak. So again, they're like, okay, we're in the dog days right now. I think the Wizards just beat the Nets also, and so now we're gonna look at Rafael Nadal, his 21 victories, which put him ahead of Joker and also Federer. Yeah, he's ahead of them right now. He has 21. And so he even saying hey, that's not enough. That's not enough. Again, because Joker's right there behind me. And the thing about me with the Australia Open was that how they had let Joker come into Australia and almost like saying, okay, we told everybody else they need to get a vaccine, get the booster. But you can just come fine. But then Australia, the government says, no, shut it down. We're not going to let him just come in like that. So what's your thoughts and perspective with regards to that?
Well, got to
you're a tennis player too, right? You're a tennis player too.
Of course. I played everything. Tennis was one of my favorite sports. Y'all saw me on my page the other day, going back on the court after 20-something years, and I still got it. You know, I was aching for another. Hey, that was a month ago. I'm still aching.
Okay.
Tennis works every bone in your body.
Say tennis.
Yeah, but Raphael is a bad boy. I like his game. He goes at you, and he goes at you with a lot of tenacity.
So yes. So the NBA All Stars, did they get it right? A lot of people trying to criticize the fact about Andrew Wiggins. They're trying to say Andrew Wiggins should not necessarily be there. He's a good player, but he should not be there. He's not an All Star. So what's your thoughts with regards to the All Stars? Did they get it right?
Well, the system is made where you get the vote. You don't get the vote for the MVP of the league for football. You don't get the vote for a lot of the sports award achievements. The players don't get the vote. It's the management and the sports and newscasters, sports reporters get the vote on all these things. So they're looking at it with a fine tooth comb. They're going over all the stats.
Okay.
So we kind of lack following, but we look at the game, so we know, hey, that guy, he needs to be there, or he needs not to be there. Sometimes they got to put these players in there so that they can get some, what's it called in the NBA, or what's it called anywhere where you get some, make all the teams relevant,
To bring about parity or what?
Parity. Yeah, that's a good parity. You have to get some parity because you want all the teams to be showcased, especially if it's a star in that team. You want that star to be showcased so that people can see what the league has and not just look at all the top tier teams like the Lakers and the Nets and Phoenix, and Golden State. Like I say, Memphis and Miami, y'all better watch out for them.
Oh yes.
Like Bernard is the only one watching us tonight. No, we got people watching, but Bernard's the only one that's asking questions. We need y'all to share to your NBA, to your sports fans, so that everybody can start. This is our second show. We're going to get better at it. We're going to have all the information. We're going to have some Stephen A. Smiths and some Shannon Sharps and some Charles Barkley's. We're going to have everybody right here. So I don't know what happened to Bernard tonight. He was so gung-ho about coming. Bernard, you better not have lied to me when you text back and told me that either. He's supposed to be, he had to say he in Phoenix.
No, he's coming on. He's making his way here now. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he was at the airport.
Yeah, he's making his way here. Yeah, he's making his way here now. Yeah. So yeah.
Agent Wilson should get $1 million per season in the NBA. Gamecock legend already. WNBA, I don't too much watch the WNBA. I guess it's because of when they come on, but I don't too much watch it. WNBA, but I need to start. The Atlanta Dream had a good team at one time, but I don't know. That's your call.
So, but hey, we support it all, and that's what it's about. Well, we're gonna jump into U.S. soccer, men's soccer, U.S. men's soccer, U.S. men's soccer. U.S. men's soccer lost to Canada 2-0, 2-0. But then the coach, he went and said that they had a dominant performance, that they were dominant, that they had a dominant performance, that they were, and I was like, is he insane?
Yeah, he is.
That they had a dominant performance, that the Canadians could not match their physical abilities. I'm like, but the Canadians still won. They still won, but I'm like,
2-0. Huh? 2-0. They ain't.
Yeah.
So if they had a phenomenal performance, a dominant performance, what the other team had?
Yeah. That's why, and they were the ones that won. So now we go to last night with regard to U.S. men's soccer. They're playing in Minnesota outside. At some points, the temperature dropped down to a -16. A -16, and the Honduras, because they play in Honduras, two of the Honduras soccer players suffer from hypothermia. So even with that, he's brushing that off also. He's not taking it as serious as it needs to be. Because some folks like saying, why would you go and do that outdoors? You got folks, again, sometimes temperature at -16. So I'm like, tell people, I said, that goes to show you that that's not a person that should be in charge. Shouldn't be in charge.
Should.
So, another question. What should be the legacy of the Fab Five? What should be the legacy of the Fab Five, in this country, even the University of Michigan? What should be the legacy of the Fab Five?
Well, they were a great team. Awesome. Chris Webber and Jackson and
Jalen Rose.
Those boys balled.
Yeah.
They balled. And it reminds you of that team Jerry Tarkanian had out there at UNLV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Fab Five will always be remembered because they had that name, the Fab Five. And they beat people down. It's mostly just like they could have took that team and played at Savannah State and would still beat people down. Mm-hmm. And that shows you, like in basketball, it's more, any team can beat any team in basketball. In football, it's more skill set in all positions.
Got you.
But in basketball, it's a little different. And those boys there were really good, and they played together. You could take, just like Deion's doing in Jackson State, you take the right set of players, you could beat anybody, and you could compete. That's even though he got whipped up in that championship game, but the other team was just rated and more hype. It was more talent over emotion.
Yes. We'll be quick with the last two we deal with. Gino Arrogant Auriemma, coach of UConn women's basketball team. Gino, to me, has not evolved into it may probably always was there, but it has now gotten worse with regards to his attitude and demeanor with regards to the ladies that he's coaching, and then dealing with the media and everyone else. What's your thoughts, your perspective with regards to Gino as I come Arrogant Auriemma?
I never liked Gino. I didn't. It was almost like New England Patriots to me. But I loved his players.
Yes.
But I hated the team and him because they made too much of him.
Okay.
I liked Pat Summitt better than I liked him.
Yes.
And he had the most dominant players on the earth.
Yes.
On the earth.
Yes.
Everybody went there or Stanford. Now they're going to South Carolina.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I tell folks it is time out with regard to Gino and his antics, because again, we have to put him in his place, and so that's what needs you, and you put it out there. So I ain't got to elaborate further with regards to that. And the last subject, and so we'll talk about this, and that here goes someone who's been a part of championships, someone who's been part of in the playoffs. That's one of the greatest hitters of all time. That is Fred Crime Dog McGriff. Fred McGriff. What's your thoughts with regard to him being in the Hall of Fame?
Without a doubt, Fred should be in there. I loved to see Fred swing the bat. Fred swinging the bat was like Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Bonds.
Yes.
I watched baseball to see. I only watch one team in the it was three teams that I watch in the NBA, in MLB, Major League Baseball. It was the Atlanta Braves. I could watch them or listen to them anytime, any day, right now.
Yes,
But the
yes,
only
yes.
other two listen to watch whether it was Boston and the Yankees playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
If they were playing somebody else, I didn't want to see the game. They were playing each other,
Ah, ah.
I didn't mind. Sometimes with the White Sox also, but the White Sox or the Red Sox,
Right.
I listen against the Yankees because I always wanted somebody to beat the Yankees.
Right.
I used to
Exactly.
hate the Yankees. You
Exactly.
know,
I understand. I understand.
So, but Fred, with that swing that he had, that he was a threat every time that he went to the plate. And like I said, Fred would get you that hit that you needed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Um,
Yes. So
he,
I think the push needs to be made that again we have to start our own publicity, our own campaign to let folks know about these folks who've been left out of the Hall of Fame.
yeah, we
We
do.
have to make that push. And then now they have created other committees. Now let these other committees know that the community, that the fans, that's what they want. That's what they want to see. And I'm saying Fred McGriff should be in the Hall of Fame. He's produced not just here at Atlanta, but he's producing other teams too around the entire country with regard to the MLB. He's done that, and he should be awarded with regard to his legacy. And that I think folks in Atlanta, if any place, should be screaming and hollering about that because he's been responsible for them. Because the Braves were getting to the World Series, but we're not winning. But Fred is instrumental with regards to again winning the World Series. That's prior to this World Series championship that we got last year in 2021. So again, Fred McGriff, I threw it out there and want folks to know this is the man that should be in the Hall of Fame.
That team that Atlanta Braves had when they won in '95 is damn near everybody on that team should be in
Yeah,
the Hall of
that's
Fame.
true. That's
They were
true.
some. That was a great team. That was I'm
That's
talking.
true.
That was a great team. This team here they had that won it this year. Last year it was a awesome team too. You know, awesome team. So you know, Fred should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's all for us with regards to Ebony Sports Reporters. And we're now tossing on over to our producer.
All right. So tonight, y'all got round two, second show for what we have here as the Ebony Sports Reporters. This is us. Y'all tune in, tell people that they can get all their sports information here. We're going to get better and better at it. We have about 12 different hosts. One of us will be in control every week because we want to make sure that you get the information. We want to make sure that we bring you sports, politics, health, religion, everything off of this platform. So y'all stay tuned and we will bring it to you. I want to thank Dr. Torre because he's such a staple on this network and you're building something great. When it goes down into history, it won't just say Julius Hall.
Right.
It'll say all of you all also, especially Dr. Torre, because you're there. All my co-hosts last night didn't show up, but you saw me in there by myself, and you didn't want me to go to criticizing everybody, so you jumped on to stop me because you know I was gonna go off because I could carry 2 hours by myself. So I appreciate you, my brother, and y'all just tune in, like and share and tell everybody about all the shows that we have. Matter of fact, before I leave, I'm gonna play. I think I got it. No, I don't have it. I don't have it. Do I? I think I got it. I'm gonna play it as we go out, and then I'll end the show. I'll play the promo. Y'all can see all the shows we got. Tell everybody about us, and I think this is it here. If not, then I'll just end the show. Okay. I hope it don't mess up because when it first came on, we were having screaming problems. I think it was StreamYard. Sometimes they go out. they're perfecting, they're getting better.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Anyway, I appreciate you, my brother. Y'all tuning in to 4
Same
shows
here.
tomorrow. 4 shows tomorrow. We got 1 o'clock. We got Financial Sense. 6 o'clock, Incarceration and Incorporation. 8 o'clock, It Is What It Is. And 10 o'clock, America After Dark. Y'all tune in.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Good night.
Peace and blessings.
Like this.